Hello, today's tutorial on the HMG Navigator will be about the models type logs, and in this installment I'll show you how you can navigate over to the models page and then first select a scale, either imperial or metric, then create a new model, load a gamma file into that model, mark up that gamma log with tops and zones and formations, edit those markups if you want to change those tops or change the pattern or the color, delete markups or save that log as a markup file for future projects, and to load a pre-existing markup file. So we want to navigate over to the models page, and you do that by selecting the models button. And over here you can see the page is divided into 3 columns. The first column is where our gamma log will be displayed. And then the second column will be a list of log markups, which are tops and formations on that log, and then some buttons that allow us to delete that markup or edit it or to save that markup file. And then over here is a list of the different models that we have loaded into the program. So the first thing we're going to do is hit this create button to create a new model. And the first time you do that, it's going to ask for your scale system. We are using the imperial system. So then it creates a new model which presently has no name. So the next step is to load a gamma file. So we click this load gamma file, which will bring up this window, and we will navigate over to our offset. Now you can load any LAS file. Now in this we have a couple of columns here. The first one is the depth. So it wants you to select the depth from your selections. And there's 3, and the default is always the first column because that's usually in an LAS file. The first column is almost always depth. Now if you want to look at that LAS file, there's a window down here, and you can use either the scroll bar or just your mouse wheel, and you can see the data and see the information on that LAS file. And then we will load that into the window. Now as you can see, it loads the whole file, and usually the default is the whole log. We need a closer up view, so I'm going to change the scale, and our scales are down here. We have a couple different selections. We can choose 1,000 feet, 500, 200, 100. I'm going to choose 500 feet and then scroll down. This is where I want to be. I'm going to change it to 200 feet. Now drawing your tops or formations is a very simple process. You just go to the place on your gamma log where you want to draw a top in, and you select the top of it, press down on the mouse key, and then draw downwards. Now you can't draw up, you can only draw down, so you need to pick the top and draw to the base, and then release the mouse key. And then that'll create over here a log markup. And it'll have the start top, the end, and the thickness. Now if you want to delete it, you just select it and delete it with this button down here. So I'll draw it in real quick again. To edit it, you just select it and edit it, and you can put in the name. In this case, I'll put in Mancus lower top, and I will change it to blue. You can also make it thicker by using these buttons, or actually I moved that one in the wrong direction. Here you go. Or you can make it thinner. Now you can't make it thinner than 1 foot. In fact, if it has a thickness of 0, it'll just be a top. But in this case, I'm going to make it a couple more feet. So it's pretty simple. Down here, I'm going to put in a nice sandstone bed here. Select it, edit it, pick this sandstone pattern. Change the name. There you go. And then to change the name of the log or your model, you just go up here, and we'll call this offset number 1. Now once you have your log or your model with the log loaded in and marked up the way you want, you can then save that markup file for later use. So for example, I'll now click this save markup file, and I'll call it offset number 1 markup. Save it. Now there's already one, but I'll just overwrite that. And then if you want to create a new one, I'll create two. I can load that markup file. In this case, I'll load up a previous made one called markup number 2, and you can see it has some beds I put in there. It's got a name already, offset number 2. Now the final thing is you can change the color of your gamma curve by coming over here and hitting this button which says F4 colors. Now the F4 means you can also do it by hitting the F4 key. So that's what I'll do. I'll select the F4 key and you can see it changes the color. There's about 6 or 7 different colors you can choose from. Or I can hit this key and it'll toggle you through it. That's about it. Now if you want to delete a markup, you can just select it and hit delete. There is no undo for delete, so once you've deleted it, it's gone. And that's pretty much how you load and edit markup files.